Yes, people, what we saying, man? How we all doing? Hopefully you guys are well. Join with Hugh, as always, man, to do a little bit of a calling show. I've done a couple of these in the past, man, but obviously with the FA Cup win on Saturday and the treble potentially around the corner, we thought we'd get a few people on to give us their thoughts and any chat that they want to have. If you want to get involved, if you go to the YouTube, the City Extra YouTube community tab, you can click the link in the description. If you're an Extra Club member, there'll be a post there with the link. Just make sure you've got a mic. Make sure you've got a camera on as well in it, and we'll get you on, man. But how you doing, bro? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm just about recovering from Saturday. It was a sick day, and I'm looking forward to the weekend. So it keeps on coming, man. The big games keep on coming. You know, immortality on the horizon potentially. So this is where we want to be, man. Innit? This is where we want to be.
Yeah, no, it's a mad place to be. I did a stream this morning with Saeed, man. I'm talking about the pressure, and the pressure now is like a mad pressure because not only do we need to win our first Champions League, it's the treble as well, man. The pressure is high, but we go in there, we do our jobs. The City players go out there and do the jobs on Saturday. We should win with a better team, obviously, but the better team doesn't always win. You have to perform, innit? So there is a high level of pressure on this match, innit?
I was very nervous that if we had have lost the FA Cup final, we would have lost the Champions League too, because I felt there was potential for it to derail us and the psychology of it. And then you're built up for the treble. It's no doubt it's in their heads. Then to lose that derby final may have affected the players going into the Champions League. But I don't think we ever really had to get out of first or second gear to be Man United. And I think we should level it up, or we will level it up again against Inter Milan. I fully take into account the magnitude of the occasion, European Cup final, something we've never won before. But as I've said many times over the last week or two, I try not to be too arrogant about it, but we are streets ahead of Inter Milan in terms of quality. You can't hide from that. We should beat Inter Milan. And I think if we can emulate close to the big performances we've had in recent months and weeks, we'll beat Inter Milan. It's just a preparation. It's purely down to preparation and mind frame going into the fixture.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. And again, if you do want to come on the show, hit the link in the description, in the pinned comment there. And if you're an X Club member, you'll see a post and you can come and join us. Let's bring on a couple of the boys then. We've got John, we've got Simpad. Simpad's been on this channel as well. How we doing, boys? We're good?
Great.
Hi,
Good,
how are
man.
you?
Yeah, very, very well. John, I'll start with you, man. What did you make of Saturday? How are you feeling ahead of the
I'm
Champions League?
probably the only person who can't talk about Saturday because I was getting married, so I missed the game.
Oh,
Well,
congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
But I was in the wedding party. I live in Czech. Obviously, I'm not Czech, but I live in Czech for 20 years. And there were 6 Manchester United supporters in the wedding party. And so my wife had banned all football talk, but it got out, of course. And then the party really did begin.
I bet it did, man. I bet it did. Hey, that's
the only regret is my brother was sick and he couldn't come. And in 1968, when my dad took me to see Man City play West Brom for my birthday, and I became a City fan, he instantly became a United fan. So I had to sneak off out to the party just to FaceTime him and sing him, "You are shit, and you know it, that you are shit." So I feel really good about the FA. It's a short answer to your question. Sorry I went on the long answer, but I couldn't resist.
Don't worry, man. And congratulations. Simpad, how are you doing? Did you watch it on Saturday, lad?
I watched the first half. I was driving for the second half, so I had it on the radio. So the second half was really anxious because I couldn't see anything and I could just hear the commentator going, "Oh, they're near our box." And I was like, oh boy. And then my family was like, you know what, just pull over and then I'll just drive. And I was like, no, it's fine because I had to take them somewhere. But yeah, a great game. I saw the Gunda goal. Literally, as soon as I opened up my stream, the goal went in. I was like, oh, okay, fast.
Yeah.
And then, great game. I saw this. I pulled over for the celebrations. Yeah, great game. So excited.
It was a crazy start, wasn't it? I mean, Ilkay Gündoğan, I mean, I spoke about this guy so much recently. I mean, John, where are you at now with this Gündoğan thing? Obviously, there's a lot of news coming out, contrary news. You know, some news is positive, some news is negative.
Well, I think he's fabulous. And yes, he should get a statue. And yes, his contribution to this team over 7 years has been magnificent. But his legs are starting to go. And he's starting to blow in games. He's not going to be able to contribute as much. Now, is it sentiment and we keep him? Or is it more practical now to get a replacement and let him go with his head held high, with the most fantastic memories that we can have of any player? It's a tough one. Personally, practically, I say, if there's any inkling he wants to go, let him go and thank him with all our hearts. That's
you know what? For me, if Gündoğan wins the Champions League and he lifts that, the first City captain to lift the Champions League, he ranks up there with the biggest legends that the club has ever had. I mean, Simpad, where does Gündoğan rank for you right now? And of course, if we win the Champions League Saturday, he lifts that cup. Where does he rank for you amongst your companies, Agueros and Silvas? He has to be right up there.
He has to be because he's the captain as well, and he played a crucial part in again he basically won us the FA Cup. He won us the league last year. He won us the league in 2021. So he has to be up there. I still think with Gundo, I want him to stay. I really do, but I think he's gonna go. I think he would have signed by now, and he might stay. He might, because if he really wanted to stay, there's no reason for him to create this confusion around him. It was same with Sadio Mane last year. He was he was in the same situation where his there was 1 year left on his contract, I think, and then they all wanted to sign him, and he was just oh, I'm going to tell you after the Champions League final, and then he ended up leaving. I think he might go, but at the same time, I'm okay, if he wins the Champions League, he might want the the stuff that comes with it, the Super Cup and the Club World Cup and that stuff, maybe to go with it. So he might stay for another year.
The other thing that nobody's talking about is like him and Bernardo. It's also the family thing. We're dealing with human beings. It's not the only thing in their lives. And if your partner is not happy, then that has really, really a huge effect. And they both got small kids now. So I think that if they are staying out of sentiment, and because or in particularly Gundogan's case, because he lifts the Champions League, and he's doing it against his wife's wish, he said, I don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point, and of course, you see this a lot with family. He's just had a kid, Annie, as well, so
Yeah.
he obviously wants a longer contract. Completely understandable, because you don't want to, be moving, across Europe when you've just had a kid. So I understand why he probably wants that extra contract, and it's it's this weird one because you don't really know what's happening at the moment. I kind of agree with Simpad in the sense that I think if he was going to stay, I think he probably would have signed a new. I don't see what reason would he have if he was going to stay to be extending this, because all it's doing is casting uncertainty. You've seen after the FA Cup final, they were asking about it, whether he's going to stay. That's not good for no one. You've seen it with Mane actually last year, before the Champions League final. All the questions were about, is Sadio Mane going to leave Liverpool? And I don't think that's particularly good. So, yeah, I think that he's. I think he's probably
The only reason I think he might not have signed the contract is the 1 year, 2 year thing. Maybe City haven't offered him a 2 year yet, and they're planning to, because the sources, like the recent reports are saying that we're planning to still. That's maybe he still doesn't have that 2 year contract on the table for him to sign in the first place. So maybe he still has that 1 year contract, so he's not signing it yet. I mean that could be one of the reasons why he's not signed it.
Yeah, no, brilliant. I completely agree. Anything else you want to say, lads, before I get some of the other boys on?
Just to throw a question out for this stream. The right-hand side. Are we counting on Bernardo having another Real Madrid game, or are we putting Mahrez in there?
What about Foden, John? I've suggested potentially even Foden. I think this is probably the only decision he's got to make. I think in this because I think everything else just picks itself. I think it's a good question. Will it be Bernardo again? Will it be Mahrez? Will it be Foden? I think he'll probably go Bernardo, but I think there's a great case for Foden. There's a great case for Mahrez. Well, where you at with it?
I would go Mahrez.
You go Mahrez?
Yeah, simply because of the opposition. I watched a bit of Inter Milan, and he's not going to have to do a lot of running about. But to break down, it is really going to be a box we're trying to break down. And so, for me, Mahrez is the more reliable option. I think he's got that game in him.
I would still say stick with Bernardo. I don't want him to change anything. It'll be too scary. Like, I think if you change anything, it'll just disrupt the whole team, because that's the same team that played against Bayern. That's the same team that played against Real Madrid, both legs. So I think the entire team, they would feel confident with the same squad. Even if again, if Mahrez comes in, obviously we'll all trust him. But then there'll be that little doubt inside you where you're like, Mahrez, Bernardo, he played so good against in all 3 games. Even in the first leg against Real Madrid, he didn't take Camavinga on or anything, but he still kept the ball, just like Mahrez does a lot. So I think it was just like in the Champions League final 2021 when Guardiola changed stuff. I think after in an interview, I think KDB said that we all were a little confused with what he was exactly doing, and I don't want the same situation to happen there. And I think against Inter Milan, he's right, because Mahrez would help break down the defense. But I just think we need a player like Bernardo there who's going to run for the team. Especially you can see Rodri, who's huffing and puffing, grabbing his knees 70 minutes into games.
Yeah.
So, and Bernardo, he's going to keep going on for 90 minutes. And people like Phil and Mahrez and Alvarez, they're great options off the bench. Especially if suppose we're 1-0 up, and then you throw on a Phil there and stuff like a Jack, and then we can play deep and give the ball to Jack to Phil, and Phil and Haaland can go on the counter. I think that's probably the best way to unleash it. I think we stick with the same team, get Edison in. About the Akanji and Ake situation, and Ake is probably not match fit, so we would stick with Akanji. But if Ake was match fit, there is a case to be made for him, because Akanji is I think his biggest weakness is in the air, right? And Inter have some strong players, they have Lukaku, Dzeko, and in set pieces, especially defensively, we've seen Akanji lack the Brentford game at home before the World Cup. You saw in the first goal for Tony, I think Tony scored it, but he was lacking aerially. And Ake is very good defensively in the air. You've seen it against Atletico Madrid last year. He's also scored a couple of goals in set pieces. So there might be a case for Ake if he's match fit. But still, I would probably still pick Akanji. So I think same team, just put Edison instead of Ortega, and then hopefully we win. Please God.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Listen, John, Simpad, I appreciate you coming on, boys. Just going to get a couple of other lads on now. And congratulations again, John, mate, on the
Thanks.
marriage, bro.
Cheers.
And, yeah,
Yeah.
catch you guys later. Hey, not bad that, innit? Getting married on and then City winning the FA Cup against Man United, bro, in the same day.
What more could you ask for, man? He's completed life.
That
Completed
is
it.
that's a mega day, that, isn't it? That's a mega day.
Yeah.
Big up to John, big up to Simpad for coming on there. Remember, guys, if you want to get yourself on, hit the link in the pinned comment there. We'll try and get a couple of the other boys on now. Let's see if we can get Kieran on, and we'll see if we can get Matt on as well. Yes, Kieran, how you doing, man?
What's up, fellas? How are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
all good, man. All good. Talk to us. What do you make of Saturday? How are you feeling ahead of the treble charge?
It was so good on Saturday. Hugh, you might know Forbidden Fruit was on over the weekend. And I was literally watching it just before we headed in. So having that win under the belt going into a festival was like the best thing ever to start the weekend off.
Absolutely. Yeah. How was Forbidden Fruit? It was good.
So good. Like, man, look at the state of me now. Like, I'm in bits. But
What is this?
Yeah,
Well, you can't just have an Irish only conversation. What are you talking about? What's
it's
going
a
on?
festival. In
Oh, it's a
Ireland.
festival.
Yeah.
All right. Cool,
You
man,
need
cool.
to come over for it next year, bro. Need to get you to an Irish festival.
Yeah. Well, I've been to a gig in it. I went to Noel Gallagher there last year, man, and it was decent. It was decent. Yeah, man. How you feeling to get ahead of Inter Milan, Kieran? What's going on?
Feel confident, not cocky, if you get me. Like, I'm confident in the boys. We definitely have the firepower to win it, but whenever people ask me about it, I keep downplaying it because I'm like the only City fan in my group of mates, because in Ireland, like, you don't really find many. So I just keep getting stick from everyone I know just coming at me. So I don't want to overstate it, because if the worst happened, I just have that coming back onto me. So
You're not ready to give it full chest in case someone starts beefing you if we lose.
Basically, yeah. But like inside, it's full chest.
I think people are discounting how good a season it is, even just to win the Premier League and the FA Cup. It's still an absolutely extraordinary season, but it feels like we have to go win the Champions League because, like I said earlier on, we're a much better team than Inter Milan. But also, everyone's been gassing up this treble for weeks, way before we started talking about it. So there's a new level of pressure there.
Yeah, no, it is a madness. Just a quick one, Matt. I can't get you on for some reason. Maybe leave and then rejoin. I'll bring in Sai. So we can get Sai's work. Yes, Sai. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Good.
What did you make of Saturday?
Oh, Saturday was awesome. But I want to thank you three guys for all the work you do. I live in Portugal, and you're like link back to the family. Yeah, me and my partner, we watch you all the time, and it's awesome to see your reactions. Is exactly the same as we react whenever we score, especially after 12 seconds.
Yeah, that was crazy. Well, I don't know if you would. Did you watch it on the watch on? Because Jordan said he was gonna leave. He started the game. He said he was gonna leave and go to the fridge and grab a couple beers. And if he would have done that, he would have missed the first goal. I mean, that was some strike, wasn't it, Si?
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. So, but I live off grid, so my internet is limited. So I either get the choice of, I always watch your watch alongs back after I've watched the game.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people do that.
Yeah. So it's me and my partner were watching the game. My throat's still not recovered from that 12-second point. But yeah, it was just what a day to beat the Rags whenever they thought they were going to stop us. Brilliant.
Yeah, you should have heard Big Steve, man. Big Steve sent me a voice note last night. Jesus, man. Yeah, the guy couldn't speak. Kieran, let me go back to Saturday, the Champions League game. I heard that City were thinking about not doing a title like a parade around Manchester if they don't win the Champions League. I mean, I think that's a bit. I think they should do. I think even if we lose on Saturday, I think you've got to celebrate your successes, man. And yes, it'll be a disappointment. Yeah, maybe they'll come back on the Monday and they'll be a little bit disappointed. But I think people need to realise that these times, they don't last forever. Look at United. You know what I mean? Liverpool had their success. Back in the day, and then they went through I think you've got to make sure. For me personally, and you can disagree if you want. For me personally, you've got to celebrate all your successes. You agree with this rumor because it comes from quite a good source?
I think it's a bit stupid not to celebrate doing the double. Like Hugh said, like the double's still a massive achievement. I saw some stat that like all like Liverpool and United, the last time they did the double was well over 10 and 15 years ago, like for each one of them. So to not let the fans celebrate in this city, I think would be a bit of a mistake, to be honest.
What about you, Si?
Well, I'll tell you what, the Rags will be carrying the Carabao Cup around Manchester. So we should definitely be carrying the Premier League, the FA Cup, and fingers crossed, the European Cup as well.
Yeah, Carl says maybe we should just do an unofficial City extra parade. I mean, we can do that if they don't do one. Yeah, it's crazy. It's great. Well, what do you lads have any opinions on the sort of right wing, left back situation? We had a bit of discussion then. Would you go Bernardo? Would you go Akanji? Any thoughts on that, Kieran?
I kind of agreed with what your man was saying. Because of Inter, they play like the low block and all. I like Mahrez in because he always seems to beat his man and get him behind for those cutbacks. And I just feel you want Bernardo against those teams where it's more 50-50, and you need the work rate. But I would just back Mahrez for this match.
And the left back situation, what would you do there?
Kanji's been playing well. No point dropping him, in my opinion.
Yes. Si, what do you make of that? Because that's really the only sort of debate that you've got to have. I think the rest of the team probably picks itself, does it not?
Oh, well, I came back for the Leeds, Leicester, and which other game? One of the other games around there. Mahrez was awful, terrible. He's a brilliant player, but I think you need Bernardo's energy. I would go for Ake. Akanji is maybe slightly suspect in the air, and that's something we're going to have to defend against. So, that's the way I go.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. Hugh, I'll ask you as well, bro, because you are still part of this. You're still part of this channel, bro. You know what I mean? Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne. If he wins the Champions League, mate, where does he rank in terms of all-time midfielders? Because there's a lot of people out there, a bit like Pep Guardiola, people say Pep needs to win the Champions League. If Kevin De Bruyne wins the Champions League, he's won it all then with City. Where does he rank in terms of all-time midfielders?
I don't think that question gets asked enough. People just have it set in stone in their minds. People just have it set in stone in their minds that, nobody can get into the same conversation as Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard, and Xavi and Iniesta and all these kind of guys. De Bruyne has the moments. He'll have the trophies. He's the leadership, the longevity, everything. He's well in that conversation, and he probably trumps a huge amount of them too. I mean, listen, it's completely subjective as to where you rank the very best and number two and all that kind of thing. Everyone's going to have their own opinions. But for me, he's definitely in the conversation for one of the greatest midfielders of all time. When you think about all the runs he's had where he turns up in those big moments, that's one thing Kevin De Bruyne will always be remembered for. When the big moments come along and the going gets tough, De Bruyne gets going. There's that iconic image of him, tying his laces and pulling his socks up against Villa last year and was like, nah, we're not losing this. We're going to go on and win it. Champions League, Madrid ones, that kind of thing. So there's a massive argument, difficult conversation for non-City fans to have to accept that De Bruyne is well up there. For me, yeah, he's definitely one of the best of all time, especially if he wins Saturday.
Yeah, no, I agree. Kieran, what do you have anything to add on the Kevin?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Hugh said. I feel like one thing I hate about judging players is when people use team accomplishments against them and stuff. It's like, it's not Kevin De Bruyne's fault we haven't won the Champions League. He's still probably the greatest midfielder to play in the Prem, and then you can start talking about in the world. But like, he's just magic. Like, there's nothing you can say against him. He's just magic.
Yeah, no, I agree. Si?
Yeah, he's one of the greatest midfielders ever to walk the planet, and you can't blame him for us not winning the Champions League, but you can blame him for winning the last three premierships.
He's one of these people, Kevin De Bruyne, man. He's one of these people that if you get the chance to go and see him live, you have to go and do it, because he just has that magic. He just has. I know you've seen him live, LB. I don't know if you guys have, Si and Kieran, but He's one of these guys that when nothing's happening and you think the game's gone flat, he's like David Silva. He'll just pull a moment of magic from somewhere, and the whole stadium just goes, wow.
Well, and sort of just to back that up is when we do the watch-alongs, right? I mean, Kevin De Bruyne might be having a quiet day, and people are always in the chat and say, Kevin's having a bad game, we need to get him off and get someone else. I always say, that's the time that you can't take him off, because he'll just pop up and do something, even if he's having a quiet game. And that just shows you how great he wins games on his own. And he's scored some important goals. Remember the Leicester free kick earlier on in the season? We seriously struggled at Leicester, the King Power earlier in the year. I don't think we created many chances. Haaland was out, actually. Alvarez led the line, and we were pretty poor. I mean, Leicester were very negative that day. And it took a world-class free kick to get us the 3 points. And that's the kind of stuff that this guy can do. And he's amazing. Do you think he's the best midfielder you've ever seen in the Premier League side?
Yeah, I do. He's got everything. He's ever. When me and my partner went we went to the Leicester game, which was her first City game. It was the ball got laid off to him. He played an amazing pass. Haaland didn't even look. He was on his way. And to see that sort of rapport between players, they're both brilliant. They're both brilliant. To know exactly what each other's going to do, and to have the skill and the ability to actually be able to do it is just amazing. It's amazing to see. So privileged after watching, City get relegated by Stoke all those years ago. Into the third tier. Yeah, to see what I'm seeing now is just it's different.
And that's why I go back to the point that I made before. You got to celebrate all your successes. And what I don't want to do, I don't want fans or even the club necessarily to get a little bit too carried away with this success, because I'm telling you as a fact, because it happens. Yeah, football's cyclical. At some point, whether it be when Pep leaves or whether these charges materialize into anything, success will certainly slow down, if not just stall for a few years. And that's why you do have to celebrate all successes. And that's why I don't really like the celebration police, man, because I think you should celebrate everything. And if they announce that they're not going to do a parade if we get beat on Saturday, I won't be happy with that. They do have to celebrate it. You have to celebrate all your successes. But before I let you boys go, anything else you want to say about the game on Saturday, the FA Cup, the Champions League, anything else?
I just hope we keep Gündoğan, man. I really hope we keep him for next season. It's all the memes going around of him turning into R9 at the back end of the season. He's just so clutch, and he's been such a great servant to us. I'd love to keep him around.
And he's a great squad player as well in terms of positional. He can play false nine. He can play attacking midfielder. He's played a defensive midfielder a lot of times as well, which I actually think people really underrate him in that position. Remember, he played there a lot in the Centurions year, and he was absolutely phenomenal. So, look, if he does move on, we've got to replace him. You're going to get Kovacic. That looks like it's done, but you're going to need someone else in there for a bit more attacking ability. But I agree with you. I think we need to keep him. Si, anything else?
No way we can't celebrate winning the double. Hopefully the treble. That would be criminal. There's no way you can not do that with the fans. Yeah, come on Blues. Let's do it again Saturday.
Big up. Appreciate it, Si. Enjoy Portugal, and Kieran, thanks a lot for coming on. I'll see you at the next year at the festival, man.
Cheers,
Catch
lads.
you in a bit, boys.
Lads.
Big up to Kieran there. Big up to Si.
I love that, man. I love coming across more Irish Blues, man. It's great to see the city community.
I see your face just light up, bro.
It's nice, man. When I heard his accent, I was like, yeah, this feels good, man. There's a good Irish Blue here on the screen with me. I'm not the only Irishman to ever feature it now.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny, man. Matt, bro, I'm still having issues, bro, getting you on. It seems like your connection. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe restart your router or something. It's saying your connection, your latency is too low. So I'm not sure what that's all about. Maybe a reset on the router or something. But look, we'll bring in Hunter here. Is that a Mercedes badge, Hunter? Are you at the dealership?
It is. I actually work for a company that sponsors the Lewis Hamilton's car. So.
Oh, okay. You had a good result of the weekend, I believe. Second and third, wasn't it?
Yep.
There you go. So that's your company being promoted all over the world. Happy days. Talk to us, Hunter, mate. Did you watch the game on Saturday? What did you think?
Yeah, of course. I was really happy. I think that kind of played out how I thought it would, kind of like you guys said in the show, that we weren't our top level, but I think we showed what we needed to show, and I think the legs will be back for the next game. Personally, I wouldn't change anything. I was last Champions League when we took Rodri out, made me really nervous. So this one, I would say leave everything the same. I do like Mahrez, and I like Foden. Like, it's really difficult. I get what everyone's saying, but for me, the team has got us this far, especially the last few legs. I would keep it. I think I don't know. It's like I'm with everyone. Like, I'm not trying to say a lot right now. I think that I have so much confidence in this team. They are by far the best team in the world, but I don't know. I just want to be humble and let them go, let their play go speak for themselves.
I mean, that's
I think
fair,
I'd keep
isn't it?
Bernardo, man. I think I'd keep Bernardo. I'd keep it going the same way. For this competition, it seems to just work. It seems to click. Bernardo seems to turn into an animal. I mean, it is a good headache, and I think you make a very good argument for Phil Foden too, who every time he's been called upon, he through his injuries before and after, every time he comes back from one, he still smashes it. When the team's not playing well, he still plays well. So you could feel let down if you're Phil Foden. He didn't get the opportunity to start, but I think I'd just stick with Bernardo. I think that Grealish, Haaland, Bernardo front three in the Champions League, it just hits different, man. But yeah, did you watch the FA Cup on Saturday, Hunter?
Yep. I watched all of it, watched the celebration at the end. It's so cool I know the team has worked so hard for each of these, and I can really appreciate them wanting to celebrate each one, and kind of like we just discussed, or you guys were discussing, there should be a parade, every trophy. And I know you guys every show kind of mention it, like you need to celebrate every win, every championship. You can't overlook it. You don't know in 5 years where we are. I've followed this team the last 20 years, and I've seen a lot of different things like you guys have. So yeah, I think that celebrate them all, whether the result is what we want it to on Saturday. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how it goes, and I would definitely host a parade no matter the result.
As much as I hate the phrase, and we do take the mick out of it when Ten Hag said eras come to an end, I know he meant it as in like, we're going to overtake City, we're going to take that throne, but there is a certain element of truth to it. Like, football is cyclical. We will not always be as sick as we are now. We won't always be slamming it and challenging for trebles. Whether you like it or not, there will come a period where we are not the beast that we are now. So I'm a firm believer, and you have to soak it all up. You have to enjoy every moment of it. I think it will be a massive mistake by the club to not have a parade, regardless of what happens on Saturday. Man, you need to give the fans, the older fans who've waited years for this kind of period, the new fans who are just starting to enjoy it, you need to give them that release and that moment with the players. So yeah, man, I think they need to have that parade, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
No, I agree. Anything else you want to say, Hunter, about the FA Cup, about the Inter Milan, or anything else? Transfer speculation, anything?
I think the summer is going to be really interesting. I will just say, like everyone else, I would pray Ilkay comes back. I get it. But I think like some of the fans said earlier, that their speculation that the contract's to come with the 2 years, and they didn't say he has it in his hands now. So I would kind of say that's why it's not signed. They plan to do it. It will be in the next few days, but they're probably working on multiple things, trying to make meetings with different agents and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would say that going to come. It makes me a little uneasy that it hasn't been signed yet. But again, I think it's probably within the last week they decided, hey, let's offer him the 2-year or 1 year with, as long as he plays like normal, he'll be offered a 2nd year or what, however they want to do the terms. Yeah, I think super interesting. I'll miss Laporte. Like we said, he's quality.
Yeah.
I always enjoy watching his passing, and yeah, that one stinks for me. But I understand it. Bernardo, I think you guys kind of hit it on the head. I think he's gone. I hate, yeah, everyone on the team. I didn't want Ake to leave when they were debating it. I'm glad he stuck it out and fought for his place. And yeah, like I think we're gonna bring in some players, but yeah, no, I'm really excited. Definitely nerve-wracking because of the potential to lose some really important pieces that we've all really got attached to the last few years. They're contributing on the field, and I enjoy their interviews. It's funny to listen to them and learn about their personalities. And yeah, so I'm excited, but thank you guys. I appreciate it. Go Blues.
No problem, man. No problem, Hunter. Cheers for coming on, bro. That was a good little debut that from Hunter, wasn't it, Hugh?
Yep.
He's gonna take our job.
Yeah, listen, he could do it, man. He could do it. I'm sure there's plenty of people that could do it.
If we sort us out a new Mercedes, I'll be buzzing with that. Right, we'll take a couple more people and then we'll wrap up. There are a few people that are in the lobby that haven't got their camera on, so you can't come on.
Turn your camera on if you're gonna join, man.
Yeah. So yeah, and there's been a few people. Yeah, I seen Jackson a few minutes ago. I seen Matt now and before that it says latency issues, so I'm not sure what's happening there. Let me see if we can bring up Joe. Let's see if we can bring up Brendan as well. Yes, boys, how we doing?
All right.
Good boys.
Joe, talk to me, man. How are you feeling right now? You must be very happy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty nervous towards the end of the United game, but I'm pretty nervous for every game, really.
Are you a bit like Jordy Porter?
Get it over the line now against Inter Milan.
Are you a bit like Jordan, bro? Where Jordan gets worried, innit, all the time before matches.
Yeah. I'm a bit like a nerve scale, 10 sort of thing.
Yeah, off the scale. Brendan, how are you doing, man?
Good boys. Yeah, man, just nervous as always. We know that how good this team is. We're confident in it, but I think we just go in nervous every single time. So nothing changes, man. This week's gonna be nervous. Like Huey said, this is the week of being potentially immortals. So there's a lot on the line. I think the FA Cup was more of a relief for like supporters and playing. I agree. Almost. It was like we had so much more to lose compared to them. But at the same time, it just needed to get done to have, to be able to win the treble. So why not?
Yeah, and I mean, that was historic in itself. I keep saying this, but I think it's massive in the sense that it was the first Manchester derby in a final over 100 years. That's a historic moment on its own. And then the fact that we've also done the three Premier Leagues in a row, and now we could potentially do the treble. I mean, this has got to go down as one of, if we win the Champions League, of course, which isn't guaranteed, got to give respect to Inter Milan. But Joe, man, this got to go down as one of the best seasons ever, surely, if City win this Champions League.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, obviously it's the treble like what Man United got, but it's the 3-peat as well. And obviously, I mean, Man City have got a lot more points than United got that season in the league for a start. Yeah, obviously, you're going to have the sour people like David Beckham coming out saying that theirs is better because it's all homegrown players. Like their whole team was English, but it wasn't. But yeah, it'll be great if they manage to get it over the line, which I'm not 100% confident about.
It's a bit of a silly debate that Man United fans are really trying to raise right now because they're getting proper nervous about our treble. But if we're going to engage in it, how would you rank our hopeful treble, Brendan, if we complete it in comparison to Man United in 1999? Because as LB just outlined, in the variables in the context are we've completed a third Premier League in a row. We've won the FA Cup, beating Man United in the final, haven't conceded a goal from open play in the FA Cup, and then to win the Champions League, you would have overcome Leipzig, Bayern, Real Madrid, and then hopefully Inter Milan. I might be biased, but I kind of prefer our treble.
You said it all, but I was saying this to someone else. I was speaking to a Liverpool fan, a friend of mine, and we were just talking, and then I'd mentioned to him, like, in '99, right, social media and media in general wasn't like it is today. Man, we were copying treble talk even before we'd even played the second leg, or even before we copped Real Madrid in the Champions League. Like, treble talk was back then. I don't think the players from '99, when United won it, would have had as much scrutiny about this treble, because obviously it had never been done. But now we've been hearing it for like months. Imagine the pressure, imagine the noise around it. It's just like we've been trying to obviously get it out of our heads. It's like it's almost like they were just putting up that media pressure, so we almost couldn't do it, and here we are, one game away. So, but yeah, I think it's better. Obviously, like you said, you beat your rivals 3 in a row, man. Plus all the media attention and the nervousness, and yeah, then it's Pep versus Sir Alex as well. So it's just so many levels to it. So
I think it would be better if we do it. I'm trying to say, I'm trying not like gas it too much because it's not happened yet. But if we do it, I think it would be better. I think beating Man United in an FA Cup final, the first ever Manchester derby final. I think, and also the only other club that's ever done the treble, that they're desperate to stop you. I think it would just be better. But that's just my view, and I'm sure United fans would make the case there. But any sort of thoughts on transfer speculation, Joe? Any contract thoughts that you have about any players? Kovacic looking likely he's going to join.
Yeah, I think Kovacic is I think he's just a good player. I don't really think there's much of a chance of anything going wrong with him. I don't think he'll be outstanding, but I think he'll just be solid. And Gündoğan's a weird one, because a couple of months ago I probably would have said, yeah, fine, let him go, but he's really stepped it up last few months. But the thing is, as people have said, he does seem like his legs might be going a bit, and you don't want to have him in, say, 3 years and he just can't move, like an Eriksen or something, just can't move. So
yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Brendan, where are you at with the sort of whole Gündoğan and Kovacic?
I don't mind adding Kovacic. I think he's a good player, especially if we can get him for the lower end, maybe like a 30 mil. I'd be happy with that. Gundo has been obviously amazing. You'd love him to stay 1 or 2, whether if it needs 2 years to get the deal done. I don't know. Hopefully they can work out a deal that, obviously he's been doing a bit of coaching. It'd be great to have him as an assistant or something like that. But yeah, I'm liking. I'm a bit not worried, but I'm be interested to see what happens with I think there'll be a lot of movement out. Obviously, Bernardo. I don't know who's going to pay for Laporte. Like, I'm happy to all these players to leave, but it's just like, who's got to pay it? Like, everyone's linked to Barcelona. Barcelona haven't got a cent to them.
Wouldn't surprise me though if PSG, because it looks like Bernardo might be going PSG. Wouldn't surprise me if PSG went for Laporte as well. Brendan. Wouldn't surprise me.
Well, if you want to package them all up, we'll give you. If you give us 100 mil, then we'll be sweet. Yeah.
And this
take Cancelo. We're having a fight. We're a bit like Chelsea, but we got some good capital. So.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting who we're getting.
Yeah, Joe, you want to say something then?
I was just going to say, I think PSG are signing Skriniar. I think he's on a free from Inter this summer. I think they basically got that one wrapped up. So I don't know how many centre backs they.
Jordy's still dreaming about Messi.
We all are.
Yeah.
I'll take him for the vibes, man. If we win the treble, then we've completed football. Let's just see Messi in a City shirt for a year or two, and then we'll get back to
I'm trying to push Huey to go to Istanbul, man. I know it's expensive, man, but man, you got to get there, man. We need that vlog. We need that, that Guinness beforehand.
Tell the guy next to me to get the business card, man. Tell the guy next to me.
Well, I was in the stream. I was in the stream before trying to hype it up so you can get over there, man.
Yeah, Freddie's going.
I'm in Australia, so I would love to go, but you guys are right there, so you should go.
The thing is with Istanbul, man, is the fans like the flights are crazy money. all the hoteliers and Airbnb owners in Istanbul are well aware of the influx of people coming in, so they just charge whatever they want as well. And then ticket prices. I mean, I think the lowest ticket price is like £65. There's not many of them available. I was offered a match ticket last week for, I think it was €200. Like, that's, to me, that's crazy. I know a lot of people do pay those prices, but I usually get my tickets at face value off the clubs. It's just mental, man. It's all mad.
LB's loaded, man. He's got the card ready to go, man. Get the vlog
What are you
sorted.
fucking on about? I'm
Jordy was
loaded.
flashing the card earlier, wasn't he?
Everybody got on LB's back about this, man.
This
You need to
guy
get the business card.
loaded, bro. If I'm loaded, yeah, I'm not here this week. I got a week off. I ain't got a match until Saturday. I would have been out of this country. I would have been on holiday if I was loaded, bro. That's the truth. But Freddie's going, so Freddie can do a match day vlog, innit? We'll see a Freddie vlog. Listen,
He's trying to take over your job.
yeah, probably is. Anything else you guys want to say before we wrap up?
I was just going to say everyone was saying about the De Bruyne, where he ranks, whatever, before. I think he's the best Premier League midfielder, but people don't like to praise people until they're gone, basically, or retired, I should say. So, I mean, you have for me, he's second for Man City in Premier League era anyway. I'll always have Aguero first just because of the QPR moment, but he's definitely getting up there.
Yeah, no, for me, I think he's the best. I mean, we did a really good video on this, didn't we, Hugh? When me, you, lads, and Big Steve, and we had a debate about who's the best City player of all time. And I went Kevin De Bruyne. I was the only one on the panel that went Kevin De Bruyne. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Who did I say? Oh, I said Aguero, didn't I?
You said Aguero. Steve said Aguero, and lads, the youngest person on the panel said Colin Bell. So that about.
Gotta be Aguero.
I think De Bruyne is the best footballer we've ever had at the club, but I just love Sergio, man, for what he did. He was so influential in us elevating through the ranks and becoming what we are now. So I'll always have that love for him. But I think in truth, De Bruyne is the best footballer we've ever seen in a Manchester City shirt.
Yeah, ability wise, yeah.
Right,
big moments to find him.
Indeed. Appreciate Joe. Appreciate it, Brendan. Thanks for coming on, boys. Catch you in the next one. Big up to the lads there. Some good conversation, man, from everyone there. I've got to wrap it up now. Sorry to the people that couldn't come on. We had a couple people that comes up saying latency issues. We had quite a few people that didn't have the camera on as well. So you got to make sure your internet's sorted and that your camera's switched on. Otherwise, we're not able to get you on. Got a couple member chats actually. First of all, big up to Jacob, new member, and Simon. Was that Si from before? Possibly. So yeah, big up to the boys. Just joined the extra club. We got Alan with a member chat. Says maybe now that Benzema shot Real Madrid with him leaving, Bellingham deal might be off, so they can spend that money on a striker. Doubt it, Alan. I doubt it. I think they probably knew this was coming. In my view, I'd be surprised if they didn't. And Everest says Gundogan will lift the Champions League to complete the treble in his home country. He is from Turkey originally. What a way to lift the first ever Champions League for the club. Come on. Yes.
He spoke about that. He spoke about that the other day, Gundogan. He said he's really excited and all his family and friends are going to be there to do it in Istanbul, obviously. So it's sick, man. There's a fairy tale narrative there to be had. So hopefully we can go and fulfill it.
Yeah. No, 100%. Oh, all right. That did it, bro.
A lot of cool people, man. A lot of very cool people in this community. It's always sick to get to chat to any of you guys, whether it's in person or if you want more of these call-in shows, say it in the comments. We can make it happen. We can do them probably after the Champions League final, maybe. See what people are saying.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully people come on there. Everyone seemed pretty cool there, so that was good. Make sure you drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. If you're watching back on the replay, let us know your thoughts in the comment section about everything that we've had a conversation on. And guys, we'll catch you in the next one, man. Peace out.